Well, by now, I think a lot of you have heard that I will be taking a sabbatical time starting on May 20th. It'll end on October 3rd. And that time's coming up fast, and a lot of plans are starting to come together. I've been part of a sabbatical planning team here at the church for the past 18 months or so. And as we've been talking, they thought it would be maybe helpful or good for you to hear me share a little more personally about this sabbatical. And so I don't want to take a long time, but I am hoping to just share a little bit about how we got here, what I'll be doing during this time of sabbatical, and I'd also like to share about how things are going to look here at the church while I'm away for this time. A few weeks ago, we provided all of you a Q&A handout, and I hope you've had a chance to grab a copy of that and take a look and read through it. Some of what I'm going to just share here in this video is already there in that handout, and so I might repeat some of it. So maybe the place to start is just to say, how did we get here? Why am I taking a sabbatical? Well, really, the conversation for this started several years ago. Some other pastor friends that I know had taken sabbaticals, and they just started to visit with me and encourage me to consider taking one too. At that time, I was feeling fine. Things at the church were going very well. I wasn't feeling burnt out or in any kind of crisis at all. I really didn't give it a lot of thought. In January 2020, Coralie and I attended a pastor's retreat, and they gave a presentation at that retreat on sabbaticals. And we came away from that workshop with a better understanding of what a sabbatical is and what it involves. And we started to wonder if this could be a healthy and a proactive step for us to take. At my annual review, I have an annual review every year with the elders team. And at my annual review that year, I brought up the idea of a sabbatical with the elders. I wasn't demanding a sabbatical. I wasn't pushing for one or anything like that. It was just more like people have started saying that this is something I should consider, and I shouldn't wait until I'm burnt out or until I feel like I'm overwhelmed and I have to quit my job. What do you guys think? What do you think about a sabbatical? And the elders responded in a very supportive way. And we began to start this conversation with council. That process took another year of just talking together about what this would look like, what it would involve, and then it was finally approved by council. All along, we had 2022 in mind, around the spring and the summer of 2022, if COVID would allow us to do this. We weren't really sure what things would look like at the church or in our world at that time. And so if it didn't seem like an appropriate time for me to be away, then we were prepared to postpone our plans, and that was totally fine with us. In June of this year, I'll have completed 10 years of pastoral ministry here at Bethel Church. These past 10 years have been incredible for my family and for me. We love this church. We love the community that we're part of. I love the work. I love the ministry and the opportunities that I have here. We feel like there could be a lot more ahead for us here at Bethel Church. You know, Bethel is a truly special place. You are a profound gift to me and also to my family. God has used this church in so many ways, and there's a lot more still to come. You know, I don't know what God has ahead for me. I don't know what God has ahead for our church, but my hope is to continue serving here for many more years. I'm excited about what God is doing here. I believe He's going to continue to give us many more opportunities to grow in our faith and in our effectiveness for Him as a church. You know, this summer, I'm also going to begin my 22nd year of pastoral ministry. That's amazing to me. I'm in my third decade as a pastor. I can't believe it. I turned 48 years old this summer, and our family is growing. Our family is changing. this seems like a good time to reflect on where I've come from and where I'm at right now, and also to ask God what He may have next for us here as a congregation, as Bethel Church. When I think of a sabbatical, I don't think of it as a holiday. I don't think of it as a vacation. I'm not planning to just sit around and do nothing during my sabbatical. That wouldn't work well for me. I view this as a time to be renewed, a time to grow, to study, to draw near to God, to equip myself as a pastor to God's people. It's hard to do a lot of that in the day-to-day and in the week-to-week tasks that normally fill up my schedule. And so this extended time of Sabbath, it's going to allow me to be intentional, to experience a true work of God in my soul. The Bible talks about sabbaticals in the Old Testament. We remember that God rested from His work of creation on the seventh day, and then He gave us instructions to set aside one day a week as a Sabbath day set aside unto Him. In many ways, a sabbatical is a lot like an extended Sabbath. The biblical language of sabbatical, it started out as an instruction for those who were working in agriculture at that time. Back then, way before there were fertilizers to just go and spray in your fields or any of those kind of things, the people were commanded to give the land a 1-year sabbatical every 7 years. This would be an extended time for the land to rest from its work, so that the nutrients in the soil could be restored and be renewed. The goal of this sabbatical year was to let the land lie fallow for a period of time so that it could continue to be productive and fruitful for many more years to come. Without that time of sabbatical, the land would become dried up. It would become eroded. It would become less and less productive. And so the people were instructed to rest from their work for a sabbatical year, to seek the Lord during that time, and to trust Him to provide for all of their needs. And God blessed His people during that sabbatical year. Sometimes I think of my own life a bit like a car or a vehicle that we drive. We can drive, we can use our vehicles for a really long time, and they work well for us. But eventually they need to be refilled, they need to be refueled, they need some maintenance kind of work. After completing 21 years of ministry, and especially after the past 2 years of a pandemic, I can honestly say that my fuel gauge, the fuel gauge that's on my soul, is pointing towards empty. I'm not in a crisis. I love what I'm doing here at the church, but I know I'm not at my best right now. Over the past year, I've realized that there are areas of my life that need some attention. My physical body, my spiritual life, my walk with the Lord, my relationships, my emotional health. Right now, these are all areas of my life that are feeling depleted. The fuel gauge is fairly empty. And so I'm looking forward to this time to experience God's renewal and God's strengthening as He refreshes me. I would be worried and concerned about getting to an empty place in my own life or in my ministry here. I know many pastors who have experienced burnout or taken a stress leave or have fallen into some kind of a moral failure or have just decided to just quit pastoral ministry altogether. And so I'm trying to be proactive right now to avoid ending up in any kind of place like that. So a sabbatical isn't a holiday. It's a time to be with God. It's a time to recognize how we can spend time with Him in this way that is very special and very important. It's very easy for me to form my identity around the work that I do. I love being a pastor. I love being a pastor here at Bethel Church. But this sabbatical is meant to remind me that my true identity doesn't come from the work that I do. It comes from my personal relationship with Jesus Christ. I'm a child of God, and that's where my identity starts. I've been created with limitations, with a limited capacity. And so this is a time to rely on God, to receive from Him, and not rely on my own self-sufficiency. So a sabbatical is a time to grow. It's a time to study, to learn from others, to plan ahead, to wait on the Lord. It's a time to rest. That doesn't mean doing nothing. Rest doesn't mean doing nothing. It means intentionally creating some space for God to be at work in these deeper areas of my own life, that are those areas that are feeling empty, those places where things have eroded. I need to experience the recreation work of God in my own life. You know, Jesus Christ is the head of Bethel Church. He's over this church. And so during this sabbatical, I trust that this will also be a time of growth, a time of renewal for all of you, for Bethel Church. I'm excited about what God will do during this time, even while I'm away. So what will I be doing? What will I be doing while I'm on this sabbatical? Well, I'm planning to do a lot of reading. I'm planning to read. I'm planning to study on two important topics. The first is on the topic of the mission of the church. What is God's heart for the church? What is His mission for us? I want to read more about that. I want to take some time to dig into that. The other topic is that I want to read about is on the role of a pastor. After 21 years of doing this, I still have so much to learn, and I want to come back to God's design for pastoral ministry among His people. I want to read about preaching. I want to read about leadership. I want to read about caring for people and equipping people for ministry. I want to read about the importance of growing in my own character. I'm also planning to meet with some other older pastors who have had long-term ministries at their churches. You know, many pastors don't even make it to 10 years in one church. So I want to interview and visit with some pastors and ask what they had to learn, how they had to grow in order to serve at the same church for many years. I hope that God might allow me to have that kind of a ministry here at Bethel. I'm planning to go on a few spiritual retreats. These will be times where I will be away from home at a retreat center where I can listen to God, where I can rest in Him. In many ways, I hope it's a time where I can walk with Him, where I can talk with Him about the past few years, about the future, about the things that He would want to say to me. I've also signed up for a few online conferences and workshops. These are the kind of things that really feed me. They really fill me up. I love them. Coralie and I, we're planning to go on a marriage retreat together. Focus on the Family has a retreat center just outside of Bragg Creek. That's just for pastoral couples. And so we've already booked a week for ourselves to go there in June, where we'll be together with some other pastoral couples and with the directors of this retreat center. That'll be a time to strengthen our marriage, to strengthen the relationship that we have with one another. I'm hoping to spend some time in nature. That's a place where I meet with the Lord, camping and fishing. We want to do some things with our aging parents. We want to tackle a few house projects that have just been hard to find the time to get to. We're taking 3 weeks of our annual holidays that I receive here at the church, and we're planning a special time away as a family as well. I'll be reporting back to our sabbatical planning team. I'll be reporting back every month to them. And this is an important piece of accountability that's built right into this sabbatical. They will be checking on me and making sure that I'm doing the things that we agreed on, and that the goals of this sabbatical are being accomplished. They'll report back to council. and they'll probably report to you as well so that you can hear the things that I've been doing. I'm anticipating a really valuable experience from this sabbatical. I want to hold my life open before God, like those grain fields that can lie fallow for a short period of time, allowing God to renew and restore all that is needed within me, so that I can be productive, so that I can be effective in service to God and to this church for as long as the Lord will allow me to do that. I don't want to serve Bethel Church with an empty fuel gauge or an empty soul. You deserve more than that. God deserves more than that. The mission of the church deserves more than that. I want to serve with a full heart, with a full spirit, ready to move forward in whatever God may have next for us. Well, before I finish, let me just share about what things will look like here at Bethel Church while I'm away. I am so blessed to be part of just a great team here at Bethel Church. Both Pastor Chris and also Pastor Bruce, they will be here. They'll be available to meet with people, to care for any needs that come up, to make decisions, to just continue to provide pastoral oversight to the church while I'm away. Krista and Natalie, they'll still be here to answer the phones, to respond to emails, to help you with whatever you need. I'm especially excited for the opportunity that this will give to Pastor Chris. Bruce will be here too, working alongside Chris, but Pastor Chris will be given some expanded opportunities for ministry and for preaching that will just allow him to continue to grow as a pastor. And I think this is a good thing. So Pastor Chris will be preaching more often, and we've also invited many others to share while I'm away. It's actually worked out that all of the missionaries that we support as a church, they're all going to be here at some point this summer. And so I'm planning to invite many of them to come and share with us on Sunday mornings. We've already booked Kevin and Kim Elias for a kickoff concert and a church service out at River's Edge Camp at the beginning of September. Pastor Bruce will also be preaching regularly while I'm away too. There are a few times where we've just invited other guest speakers to come and to share with our congregation. Pastor Chris and Pastor Bruce, they'll be available to visit people in the hospital or to care for any issues that come up. Our elders team, our council, our ministry leaders, they will all continue to be here to carry on the ministry life of Bethel Church, and all of that's going to go so well. I'm sure that the time is going to just fly by for me, and it will also for you. I want you to know, being away for this amount of time is not going to be easy for me. I love this church. I love all of you. My life is really centered on this place and on my relationships here. My life is centered on being here on Sunday mornings and preaching and visiting with you during the week. And that's all going to look different for a little while. We're still planning to attend a few services. We're not going to be strangers. We will be at our home. We'll run into you around town, I'm sure. But I trust that the Lord can use this time for His glory and for His purposes. If you have any questions or want to hear a little bit more, please feel free to ask me or talk to anyone on our sabbatical planning team or on our staff. I want to just thank you for praying for me as I prepare for this sabbatical time. I hope you'll continue to pray for me while I'm away too. I would really ask you to pray for me. And I want you to know I'm going to be praying for you, for all of you. I'm looking forward to returning early in October and returning back into ministry here. Thank you for allowing me to share with you for a few minutes. I hope this has been helpful, and I just pray that God will bless all of you. Thank you for listening and for watching.